Alright, kit info for Galbrena and Qiuyuan have been out for a while, and I think we have a good understanding of what role and sort of how their playstyle is going to be. Now obviously everything will most definitely change over time, but their early kit leaks, signature weapon leaks, and echo sets give us a perfect idea of what they will generally do. So let's take a look at Galbrena first. She'll most likely be the first phase banner because she was strip marketed first. So she's a fusion pistol wielder, and it looks like she'll be a main DPS who focuses around heavy attacks and echo skill damage, because she has a lot of unique heavy attacks throughout all her states, and some other attacks are considered heavy. Plus, she doesn't have an echo set yet. This new fusion set was leaked alongside everything else. Now, just looking at this, 16% fusion damage is whatever, but 20% crit rate when casting a heavy attack or echo skill is stupid. There is no way that they don't change this, because this set literally is a free 20% crit rate for any character. You just need to cast a heavy attack. The only other set that gives 20% crit rate is the Spectro Frazzle set, and that's locked behind specifically applying Spectro Frazzle. So this will definitely get changed. Don't get your hopes up. It would be broken otherwise. It'd be like the new best in slot for half of the characters in the game. But it does tell us that she does heavy attacks and echo skills, which is cool. But let's move on to her signature. So the translation says it's a crit damage weapon, 12% attack, so she of course is attack scaling. You can also see this in her kit. Then there's a 20% increase of the sound bone skill when doing heavy attacks, then a further 20% when doing this skill, and if both are active, ignores 8% defense. Now, just to clarify, the translation is weird. Sound bone, it just means echo skill. So when she does heavies or echo skills, this further implies she's a heavy damage dealer, but it also sort of seems like she will do a considerable amount of echo skill damage as well. There's actually more info solidifying that she is an echo skill damage dealer, but we'll get into that later. Overall, doing heavies will buff echo skills, and then doing echo skills will buff heavies by 20% each. And then as a nice bonus, you get 8% defense ignore if you can do both. So who does she work with? Actually, first, let's talk about the two-piece set that'll work best with this three-piece. I mean, it's like any fusion set that gives 10% fusion, obviously would be best, and then lingering tunes for attack percent. So, teammates. She really wants teammates that buff heavy and echo. That's where her damage is. Mortifi and Ayuno are the only heavy buffers we have, so they will be her best sub DPS. Of course, Ayuno is getting even more universal, and Mortifi is still getting better by the day. Echo buffs are still pretty niche. Only Qiuyuan has echo skill buffs, so yeah. I will add, there seems to be some mechanic that relies on teammates casting a lot of echo skills. So Furlova is seemingly perfect for Galbrena, and yes, obviously, Qiuyuan's attacks count as echo skills, making him the perfect teammate for her. They do really want to be run together, but their banners are one after the other. I don't know how many polls people will have for all these characters, but the TLDR for right now is she's a fusion pistol main DPS who does heavy and echo skill damage. She plays similarly to Ayuno, where she enters a special state, and then all her attacks are replaced by stronger ones while consuming Forte. She's coming with a whole new three-piece set. Of course, they're still doing this, and Qiuyuan will be her best buffer. However, Furlova and Mortifi are perfectly fine, Furlova being very good. Okay, let's move on to Qiuyuan. A lot of people are hyped for this guy, finally getting a male character for once. So it seems he's an arrow sword sub DPS. It also looks like he is a heavy damage dealer as well, and he buffs specifically echo damage while giving some crit damage to the team. So it sounds like he could be really broken. So let's get into it. So this crit damage buff I mentioned applies to the entire team, meaning himself as well, and it's based off of his crit rate. So it seems that getting him to 100% crit rate will be more valuable than going for the usual 1-2 crit ratio, but of course we don't know the conversion yet or the limits. I'm confident the max will be 100%. But his outro will be the first and only echo skill damage buff in the game. We don't know how much, again the specific numbers aren't out yet and they will probably change, but there's no alternatives as he is the only one. So Furlova gets value, Galbrena of course gets the most value, and then some future echo damage dealers will get value as well. Now let's look at his dedicated echo set and signature weapon. Law Harmony is without a doubt his set. He benefits from the heavy damage and does many echo skills, so we'll get into that later. Not only that, but the set has some supportive buffs like echo skill damage bonus for all resonators. So without a doubt, this is his set. His signature solidifies his role even harder. Firstly, it's crit rate, which makes sense for his crit conversions. It's attack percent, so he's an attack scaling unit as well. And it increases heavy damage by 40% after echo skill, which is his main damage source. But then it also has a unique thing where if he outros, it buffs the team's echo skill damage by 20%, a 20% amp. This actually makes me think Galbrena will be more echo damage focused than heavy, but it's probably a 50-50 thing purely based off of her kit and signature. But back to Qiuyuan. So it's clear that from his set and signature and kit, he will be a sub DPS who slots into echo damage dealers. But can he do anything else? Well, based off of rough leaks, he seems to do pretty good damage for a sub sub DPS. Of course, numbers will definitely change, but he has a lot of self-buffing mechanics. Like a lot of people thought Qiuyuan would just straight up be a support, when in reality, you can play her as a DPS and be perfectly fine. So I think Qiuyuan's in a similar situation where he is a buffer, but he definitely has the potential to be an on-fielder. The fact that his crit conversions apply to himself and he has different states that give him stronger attacks makes me think he could work as a DPS. Yet his main role will be sub DPS. That's about it, honestly. If you want to on-field him, then he just needs a heavy buffer like Mortifi or Qiuyuan. It's funny at this rate, Mortifi is like the most universal unit so far, besides Verena's Shorekeeper. I think he fits into more comps now than Sanhua. But yeah, that's his kit. Arrow, sword, sub DPS that buffs echo skill damage and gives crit damage to the team, including himself. Awesome. 2 amazing units coming right after 2 amazing units. Rip to everyone's wallet. But one more thing, I did actually want to look at how universal their signatures are, because Qiuyuan and Augusta's were surprisingly specific. It's kind of annoying how they can't really be used to their full extent on anyone else. So Galbrena's pistol increases echo skill damage when dealing heavy, and heavy when casting echo skill. You get 8% defense ignore. Now every character can get this 8% defense ignore, but no other pistol user benefits from heavy or echo buffs. So it's good for the crit damage ascension stat and 8% defense ignore, yet the rest is useless. So it's sort of a mid-value weapon for your account. It's just a stat stick. Then for Qiuyuan's sword, it's crit rate, which is good, increases heavy damage after casting skill, and it's a team-wide echo skill buff. So this does have some more value. It's a stat stick. This time it can be used on a sword wielder to buff echo skill damage. Like for example, a Danjin Frolova Cantarella comp. Just give Danjin this weapon and she can actually be pretty decent. She will use that heavy damage bonus and buff Frolova and Cantarella's echo skill damage. But besides that, it can't really be used on anyone else. It is slightly more universal than Galbrena's pistols, but yeah, Danjin is sort of the only character that can make full use of this. Otherwise, it's just another stat stick. But I'll wrap things up for this video. I find it hilarious that we're getting so many heavy damage dealers all of a sudden, right after Qiuyuan. It's like Kurosal the niche claims and just went crazy. Like, I'm seriously shocked people still think Qiuyuan's niche. She's literally gonna be the new best sub DPS. She's like best in slot for half of the meta comps. I also saw some people surprised that Galbrena doesn't fit in Mono Fusion. It's like, yeah, I think Mono Fusion isn't getting touched. Mono Fusion is it's there, it's done. It's gonna be in that game untouched for the rest of the time. I can clearly see them going into the echo skill meta right now. Galbrena is getting her own meta with Qiuyuan, this new echo skill meta. I can definitely see them adding even more echo skill damage dealers. Definitely echo damage buffers. Please, Kuro, just add more 4 stars that do this.